What's up, everybody? Brett here, my YouTube channel Good Talk Gaming. Wanted to do a quick little video today on the update patch here for the Warriors of the North DLC for Battle Brothers. It's not something you can really read and go through in-game, so we need to check out the Steam page here. And yeah, let me do that for you. I'm going to go ahead and read and give my thoughts on some of the recent changes. So if you're not aware, I already started a Let's Play on my channel. And if you're interested in the game at all, feel free to start watching me if you aren't already. Alright, let's go ahead and jump into this. So, with the Warriors of the North DLC comes a big free update that improves the game in many aspects. Below you'll find a list explaining the most important changes and additions. So it's basically saying you should start a new campaign. The odds are you may get some glitches if you do not. So, and most mods will probably have trouble working. But here we go. We're going to get into kind of the meat and potatoes of the actual changes. Added new main menu background, okay. Added a choice between two company origins, the classic Hoggart start and a quick start that drops you right into the world. Owners of the Warriors of the North and Beast and Exploration DLC get additional origins. So that's just to let you know that if you're playing the base game, you get at least two of the origins, which is nice. Added named variants of Ancient Dead and Goblin weapons, that's cool. We've seen some of those in some of the other updates. Added additional loot items for goblins. I can't wait to see what that is. Added new Relentless perk, which reduces the impact of fatigue on current initiative by 50%. Okay. That's pretty important. Relentless. I need to check that out. I don't know if I noticed that in my playthrough. Relentless perk. Reduces the impact of fatigue on current initiative. I'm not sure how great that is. I mean, the guys you build with this kind of spec, where you have really high initiative, you're also going to be probably building them in with a lot of fatigue. So perhaps not the best, but there's probably a build for it. They didn't make this for nothing. They had something in mind. Added the new Cultist Leather Hood and Cultist Leather Robe items. All right. That makes sense. They're pretty spooky dudes. They need their own outfits. Added Paint Remover item. I noticed that. For the owners of the Beast and Exploration DLC, can be both bought and crafted. So, you know, if you want to get rid of paint colors, I kind of like the stainless steel look on a lot of my items. So I could definitely see people wanting to go like all steel on their items. Added 15 new illustrations and updated some older ones. I love the illustrations in this game. I would have an art book if I could. Added ability for Wiedergangers to pick up weapons from the ground. What? I'm glad I'm reading about this because if I had saw that in game, it probably would have blown my mind. That's pretty cool. Added new auto pause after leaving city option. I like that because sometimes in that split second you can get ganked. That's nice. I would probably leave that active if I was really concerned about it. Changed named items to have new attributes depending on item type. For example, named throwing weapons may have larger stacks. Very cool. I like this. It's like one step closer to the kind of unique abilities we see on the super like in-game like Reproach of the Old Gods, that type of legendary sword. I would love to see crafting in this game or blacksmithing to the point where we can like put runes or enhancements or magical whatever onto our weapons and make them even cooler. I hope eventually that's where the game is going, and just having the unique items have that extra, you know, bit of uniqueness to them is nice. So change crafting costs of some consumables from Beast and Exploration DLC to be lower. I think that's absolutely necessary. One of my criticisms really at the end of my playthrough is that I never really used the consumables because in addition to the huge costs that you incur just by throwing away all of your crafting items, you also still have to pay hundreds of gold to make these items that only work for like a few turns in one battle and then they maybe don't even do anything. So I think honestly they need to be reworked altogether. Maybe you get more charges for each craft, I don't know. But as it stands right now, they're pretty niche and they're usually pretty bad. Change supply caravans to randomly carry either tools, medicine, or ammunition in a significant quantity. Okay, so I think I attacked a supply caravan on my, or maybe it was just a trading caravan. Maybe that's different, supply and trading caravans. But I did attack a trading caravan in my new playthrough. And I don't remember getting a significant amount of stuff, but I do remember getting 2 quality woods, which was kind of always a thing you could get. But I can't wait to attack more of them. I feel like it's going to be a good source of income for my barbarians. Change trading caravans to carry tools, medicine, and ammunition in small quantities. So that is what we saw. We saw just a couple of each of these, and I like that. Change general frequency of events to be slightly higher. I like that as well. Sometimes you go several days without an event, and it feels kind of bad. Change the Goblin City and Witch Hut to have slightly less opponents. That's probably for the best, because I had to save them for super late game. I was able to do the Goblin City pretty soon, but the Witch's Hut was, I mean, you gotta have great resolve for the Witch's Hut fight. And the Kraken to have slightly less hit points. Hopefully something in the ballpark of 15 to 20%, but that seems to me like that would be significantly less hit points. Maybe they're just talking like in the 10% range. Either way, the Kraken fight takes forever. It's like a 45-minute ordeal that you kind of have to luck through. I'm honestly not looking forward to doing this fight again in my new playthrough. As epic as it was, and believe me, it was epic if you haven't seen it, I was sweating the whole time, and I had to do it, I don't know, 10 times before I got it. But anyway, so that fight needs to be reworked. To tighten the run-up to your next challenges after the first late-game crisis has been defeated and you choose not to retire. So just giving you more to do when you're in that kind of late-game stage where you're strong enough to do stuff, but you're not completely geared yet. I think that's a good idea. But the Black Monolith remains as challenging as ever. New campaign required to take effect. Okay, so we're starting a new campaign. All of these changes are going to be affecting us. Changed range attacks hitting tiles other than the intended target to have their damage reduced by 25%. That's probably a nice change. I got a lot of kills in our last playthrough by using tons and tons of war bows. And honestly, most of the time, because I understand the way the game works, I was able to kill a target I wanted to kill by aiming at a target I didn't want to kill. And if that doesn't make a lot of sense, it shouldn't, because it's not realistic. But lowering the damage is kind of a nice way to nerf that. I can still take advantage of this for sure, but I'm not going to be getting like one-shot kills on targets that I shouldn't be able to hit who are hiding behind cover. Change Quick Hands perk to no longer apply to shields. I don't know how I feel about that. That was my favorite part of it, was to be able to switch out shields and other weapons. Changed Bag and Pelts perk to also apply to shields again. Okay, that's not something I ever made use of, but I could see that working. Change Duelist perk to still work if you're having a throwable tool, example a throwing net, in the offhand. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so before, having anything in your offhand lost you the buffs from Duelist, but now it doesn't. That's good to know. Changed Resilient perk to reduce any negative status effect duration to 1 instead of decreasing it by 1 turn. So that's a huge buff to Resilient. That makes it much more useful now. I don't know if it's still going to be a high priority perk to take, but in the future, if the game ends up having even more status effects, there's already quite a few. I could see Resilient being a pretty good one on certain types of characters. Hopefully, I mean, the biggest problem is you just have so few perks that you can take. If they raise the number of perks that a single character can take before they max out, perks like this I think would get a lot more love. Changed fatigue cost of adrenaline skill to 20 down from 25, that's much better. And changed the fatigue cost of indomitable skill to 25 up from 20. Oh, that sucks. Indomitable was a skill I used a lot in my last playthrough, and I think it's a really strong skill. I would recommend it on any two-hander. I would take Indomitable on. It reduces direct HP damage, and I think it's pretty necessary. Change Throw Net, Throw Acid Flask, and Throw Blessed Water skills to benefit from fatigue cost reduction when having the Throwing Mastery perk. Okay, that's a small buff. Change Shoot Bolt skill of crossbows to cost 3 AP up from 2, and Reload skill to cost 4 AP down from 7. So that's definitely an overall net buff. So you lose 1 on the shot, but you gain 3 on the reload. So what does that allow you to do? So you could potentially shoot, reload, shoot again, if I'm doing my math right. So guys, I think if I remember right, you get 10 AP, that's action points per turn, right? If you reload in your last turn and you start your turn with your crossbow loaded, you shoot, boom, that's 3 AP. Then you reload, that's 4 AP. And then I guess you should be able to shoot again. So you could potentially, kind of save your bolt from one round and then in the next round get 2 shots off as long as you have the fatigue. That could be pretty sweet. So change crossbows to inflict 33% damage to Ancient Dead and Alps, up from 10%. That is awesome and makes a lot of sense. Crossbow bolts are heavier, direct impact. Um, they do more damage on the hit. And when I say damage, I don't mean like in terms of hit points in a game. I just mean in terms of the physical impact in real life of a crossbow bolt hitting you square in the chest. It's a stockier, heavier bolt coming from closer range. It makes sense that it would do just a bit more physical damage to things that are made out of bones and parchment skin. But the bows still inflict 10% damage, but the new staff sling also does 33% damage. So they're finding a pretty cool niche for this weapon, and I'm hoping to make use of it in my playthrough. I've had a few opportunities to buy it. I don't know if I want to buy it. I wish there was a higher tier staff sling, maybe like a next level up. That way I could use it in the mid game for sure. Change stack size of spike bolus to 6, up from 5. Cool. I mean, that's just a small buff. Changed AI to make better decisions in a variety of situations. I've already seen the AI, even in these early fights, acting really defensive and smart. So I'm excited to see how much better it is overall. Change lock camera option on world map to turn off automatically when using WASD or dragging the camera. Change various minor things for the better. Fixed various bugs and issues. So guys, that's it. I think those are all, for the most part, those are great changes. I don't see anything that I want to boo. I don't necessarily want to cheer a lot of these, but I don't want to boo them either. And there'll probably be more updates in the future. And yeah, but guys, that's it for now. Hopefully you stick around and continue watching my Battle Brothers series. Go ahead and let me know in the comments section if you're new, if you're considering subscribing, what you'd like to see in that series, if there's anything in particular. And yeah, just general love all the way around. All right, guys, that's it. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Take care.